got this first cylinder head off, and you see it has 40 over pistons in it. No ridge at all. Still has the honing in it. That light scuffing, I can't even hook it with my fingernail. Hey everybody, back in the shop. So today I'm gonna take this 305 that came out of my Camaro, and I'm gonna drain the oil and start tearing it down, get everything laid out on the bench. I'll probably clean it up before I tear it down, some brake clean and a wire brush. But yeah, then I'm gonna tear it down and we'll inspect it and see what's wrong with it. And I have a gasket kit coming for it, so then I'll get it put back together and stored for a future project. Alright, I ran some degreaser on the motor, wire brushed it, and then rinsed it off with some brake clean and blew it off with air. So now I'm going to undo all these rocker assemblies and go ahead and put these all on the bench in the order they go back in. And then I'll go ahead and start undoing all the head bolts, pull the heads off. I got the rockers all pulled off, push tubes, and the lifters pulled out. Laid them out here on the bench, 2 to 8, 1 to 7, 2 to 8, 1 to 7. So everything can go right back in the same hole, same wear pattern. So now I'm going to undo the head bolts and pull the heads off and set them on the bench up here. Got this first cylinder head off, and you see it has 40 over pistons in it. No ridge at all. Still has the honing in it. That light scuffing, I can't even hook it with my fingernail. Don't know what's going on there, probably from no lubrication and me spinning the motor over probably. But anyways, we'll go ahead and get this other side pulled off, and then we'll flip it over and we'll check the bearings. But I'm gonna go with it barely had any miles on it. Got this other head off. Cylinders all look good. Still has cross hatching in it. Not a ridge. Low miles like they said. So I'm gonna spray this with some brake clean, get that all down into the oil pan. I'll clean this deck surface off and then we'll flip it over both sides. We'll flip it over, check bearings, and clean up the pan gasket side. Then we can start resealing. Got the heads off, cleaned up the deck surfaces on the block. Still got to clean the heads. But I flipped it over and pulled the pan off. So I'm just going to pull the middle main cap and one or two of the rods. I'll retorque them when I put them back together. But I'm sure they're good to go. But we'll just verify them, check them out. And then when the gasket kit shows up, we'll start resealing this whole thing, get it all cleaned up, and throw a coat of paint on it. All right, I just pulled out the middle main cap and that rod cap. It does have 1010 bearings in it, main and rod. It's marked right there on the crank as well. So yeah, low mile motor. I'm gonna go with 15,000 miles. I mean, it is immaculate inside. So now I'll go ahead and bag it up, wait for everything else to show up so I can seal it up. And then I'm gonna go ahead and clean up these head surfaces so it's ready to slap together. All right, I threw a light coat of paint on this thing. DE 1634 Duplicolor. Gonna let it dry. Cleaned up the gasket surfaces on these heads. Just need to wipe them down. When I spin this over to put the heads back on, I'll hit them with a coat of paint. Get this thing all thrown back together. Hey everybody, back in the shop again today. unbag this small block Chevy. I'm gonna flip it over. I'm gonna install the pan gasket, get that all on there, and then I'll start with putting new head gaskets and the heads on, torque them with brand new Felpro bolts, and then we'll start putting the valve train back together on this. Put a fresh coat of paint on it. So now all my head gasket surfaces are clean. I'm just going to wipe them down with a rag and some brake clean and get my head gaskets and heads put on. Got the heads on. All the head bolts are in. They're just snugged up with my impact gun. I'm going to do 3 stages, 25, 50, and 65 for the head bolts. Got the heads all torqued down, masked it off real quick. Shot them both with a coat of paint. So it blends in with the block. So now I'll start lubing up some lifters and dropping them in, and lifter retainers and guides. Then I'll drop in push tubes and start sucking up rockers, and then we'll go over the rocker procedure for rotating it over, getting it on TDC and adjusting the rockers. Okay, so how I'm setting up the rockers on this basic small block Chevy setup, I'm just gonna put each set to TDC and go down till I got 0 lash. I can spin the push tube, but I can't go up and down like that. Just go till you can spin it freely, but no up and down. And then I'll go half a rotation down. All right, just got everything all done inside. Set these valve covers on after cleaning them up and masked the valley off because I don't have an intake. So I just painted the covers, plugged up all the holes except for spark plug holes. I think tomorrow I'll just run in and grab some spark plugs that'll go for this and put them in, just plug it, let the paint dry, plug the holes on the valve cover, put the cap in. Maybe if I feel like it, I'll buy an intake in town, but probably don't know. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna run for an intake. It doesn't really have that high of a lift cam. It's more like an RV cam. So I'll probably rev to like 5,500, 5,800. So a dual plane performer for Metalbrock would probably be fine. So we'll see what I decide. But anyways, that's a wrap on this motor. It's basically gonna go back into storage after I put spark plugs in it and take it off the stand. Thanks for watching, guys. It means a lot for liking and subscribing to my channel. I got more stuff going on. I got a aluminum LS there. That's for the Camaro. That's the transmission out of the Camaro. Got the 59 Apache. And it's getting new wheels and tires. So working on that today. I think those things look good. American Racing wheels. Some Goodyear all-terrains. We got muddy, snowy roads. We got gravel for a couple miles before you get to town. So Got to run a good tire, but I think this thing's gonna look good.